One last topic that I wanted to talk about today, and this will be a very freestyle-ish topic. Can an athlete be a successful athlete while simultaneously being an activist? And the reason why I ask this question is because with all the quarterbacks that are going down right now, there's a lot of people talking about bringing in Colin Kaepernick. And there are some people out there who genuinely believe that Colin Kaepernick cannot be the quarterback that any team would need because he is too worried about his activism. So is it possible, or do you think one can do both effectively?
I'm gonna start out. I might get some ish for saying this, but if your heart is in something, in two things, you can't be fully 100% into two things. You're always gonna have to make a choice, and so he might be a good quarterback, but some of his activism may suffer, or he may be 100% activism. Some of his quarterbacking may suffer, and so you have to make a conscious choice of where you're gonna put all your energy at that point. I mean, that's just the way I feel. I mean, this gonna be pushback, but that's just how I feel about it sometimes. Like, it's when you're truly into something. Speaking for me, when I'm into something, I'm 100% in. Nothing else really truly matters. I mean, I have other interests, but they don't get my full attention. So that's just how I feel on it. Like, I don't think he's a distraction or anything like that, but he's gonna have to do some soul searching too.
He shouldn't be a distraction, but he would be a distraction if somebody signed him. Now, to answer your question, Vince, I think the NFL has sadly answered that for us. No, you can't be an athlete and activist. We told you so. That's a sad statement to make, but it's been told to Colin Kaepernick. Nah, you can't be an activist and play quarterback in the NFL. No, we don't. No, we can't mess up the good fortune of the NFL. We can't shake the ground here. No, we can't do that. I mean, my more serious answer is, I think you can do both, but you have little leeway to be bad.
Yeah.
Because what's the narrative of people who don't like Colin Kaepernick? Oh, he sucked. I remember one game. People love saying that. I remember one game. I literally hear a lot of people say that. They point to one bad game Colin Kaepernick had, and they will harp on that until the end of time.
Or you dress funny.
Or you arrogant. So it's a tricky question.
Yeah.
It really is. And speaking specifically to Colin Kaepernick, I want to bring this local because me and Kaiser talked about this off camera. We don't want this to happen. But what if one of our quarterbacks goes down? You mean to tell me Colin Kaepernick can't get a phone call from us? Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Despite whatever he's doing outside of football, you mean to tell me that dude doesn't deserve to be at least a third string quarterback on the team?
Yeah.
Despite all the wonderful things he's done off the field. He's put in at least enough work to get a phone call. So effectively, yeah, you can do it, but the NFL has told us otherwise.
Yeah. And me personally, maybe effectively is a better word. Maybe that's a better word. I personally believe you can do both. And I say that because you look at a lot of big time athletes in and outside of football. Even with them performing at a high level with their athletics, you have a lot of athletes who they're buying chicken restaurants, or they're buying pizza joints, or they got real estate, or they're giving back in some type of way. And when you see them doing these things, you never see someone say, "Hey, you should stop buying all these houses."
I would say to that, a lot of them have advisors and people that they trust in their circle handling those transactions, and like when everything's close, I think that a lot of them get, "Hey man, we got this deal right here. How do you feel about this? It's your yes or no."
But on the opposite end of the spectrum, we've seen examples of Dennis Rodman go to Las Vegas during the NBA Finals and come back and pull down 18 rebounds. We've seen Rob Gronkowski party with models and be on boats and drink and do all this other crazy stuff, chugging beers, and then go out and be the best tight end in football. So There's always there's always people who know how to strike a balance.
And I tell you what, there was a documentary. I want to say it was on the 49ers. I can't remember if it was a 30 for 30, but it was back when Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders were teammates. And if you guys remember, Jerry Rice was your typical football,
right.
Eat, sleep, drink football.
Right.
We're not practicing. Okay, I'm going to my room.
Right.
That was it. Deion Sanders was
I'm putting on my fur coat.
Party.
Right.
The night before the Super Bowl. Deion Sanders and the rest of the defense, they were out partying. And Jerry Rice was feeling some type of way about it. And Jerry was like, hey, like, you guys, I think you guys need to take this a little bit more seriously. We got a Super Bowl to play tomorrow. And Deion was like, man, chill. We're going to beat them boys by like 40, 50 points anyway.
And they did.
And they went out there and beat them boys by 40 and 50 points.
Something points.
And to kind of speak to Jamal's point, I think depending on the subject matter, what it is, if it doesn't force you to look in the mirror and reflect, I think people are okay with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to Colin Kaepernick specifically, I think the only reason he's been ostracized the way he is simply because of what he's advocating for. I think that's it.
Pretty much, man, because that word activism, it gets skewed by so many people when it shouldn't be. Because Colin Kaepernick's activism has been made about something else a lot.
Now, Jamal, let me ask you a question. You believe that you can do both effectively.
Right.
Maybe not both 100, but effectively.
Right.
So I'm going to throw a name out there. And in regards to being an athlete and an activist, I want you to give me a yes or no as to whether or not he's done it effectively.
Okay.
LeBron James.
Come on. Very much so.
What you got, Rodney?
Absolutely.
I think LeBron, the structure that he has around him is great enough where they insulate him a lot and you don't see the strings that are being pulled for him behind the scenes.
He's got a great team.
So getting back more so to your circle, having a good
it's
circle.
it's having a good circle and having everybody kind of looking out for you, just people that you know that are trustworthy enough where you could just trust them to handle business for you.
His boys work for him.
His boys. That's what I'm saying. Like
the boys he considers his brothers. Right.
And before we did this podcast, I actually went and I researched a few names as far as activism goes. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't really find anybody that successfully done both.
There's not too many.
Other than LeBron James, there's one other name that comes to mind, and that's Megan Rapinoe.
I would say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar a little bit.
Muhammad Ali, obviously.
Well, and see, that's what makes this conversation so sketch, because even though Ali was an activist, can we say that he was successful because he lost 3 years of his career?
I was just gonna say it was obviously a tumultuous role for Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can't argue the success.
Yeah,
you can't argue the success outside the ring. You damn sure can't argue inside the ring.
You'll have to. There has to be a sacrifice at some point,
right?
That you make. So
now, if we add in the element of sacrifice, then there's a lot of athletes that comes into that. Because
right.
One of the names, there were two names that I came up with earlier. One name was Kurt Flood. And Kaiser, I'm sure you're familiar with that name.Maybe you, Jamal, you're a baseball guy. But in baseball, there was a reverse clause, which essentially means the MLB owned you. And they could literally, they did whatever the heck they want. And Kurt Flood, he fought that. And he lost the last 3 years of his career, I think. So he ended up not being able to play again. But he ended up getting the end result that he wanted, and the other players after him benefited from it.
Another name I look at is Jim Brown.
Yeah, Jim Brown. Yeah,
he was an activist, and then he didn't play long.
Yeah,
I have to. There's a question I want to ask, because we're mentioning Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali. These are two absolute legends. I'm talking about two of probably the best at whatever they did, arguably. You get what I'm saying? So another question that needs to be asked is, can you do it? If you're willing to be an activist, how good do you have to be at your profession?
I think,
If Colin Kaepernick is Tom Brady, is there really an issue?
Yeah.
He's playing right now if he's Tom Brady good. I'm not saying Colin Kaepernick's not good. I'm just saying how good, what's the level? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Now, to switch gears a little bit, there's two names I want to kind of mention here. I don't want to call them activists, but they were two very outspoken athletes. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf and Craig Hodges.
Yeah.
Once they start being outspoken,
Bye-bye.
you didn't hear from them anymore.
Well,
And it is important to note that this was in the David Stern era.
Yeah.
David Stern got a lot of blemishes in his era.
While Donald Sterling was wreaking havoc in
Calling
LA.
us bucks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
You just leave that alone.
we're gonna leave that one alone today.
Hey, y'all, that was pretty dope conversation. Pretty dope. That might be something we can revisit at another podcast. But